Welcome back everyone, I'm Biggie Sweats and today I'm bringing you an Assassination Rogue guide for Mythic Dungeons and raiding. Now before we get into that, make sure you come over to the twitch.tv/Biggie Sweats and watch us over there. If you have any questions whatsoever, just let me know. We play all sorts of games, mainly MMOs, WoW, Final Fantasy and even Diablo 4 from today onward. Now make sure you like and subscribe down below. Let's get straight into this video. Now, you don't hear too many things about Sin, but if you follow this channel and have for a little bit, you know it is one of our favorite specs overall. If we had the opportunity, I would play this spec all the time. Now, it has the ability to do damage. It's got very strong single target, especially once you hit them 35% marks in a boss where it's execute situation brings it up to the top. If you let it stick to the boss, it is phenomenal. But in Mythic Plus, this is where it's lackluster. Now you can use talents that make it a lot better and do make it useful, but ST single target is where it reigns supreme. When we're looking at its viability for Season 2, what does it bring? Now, it brings exponentially high single target damage if it can stick to the boss. It's got great utility, Shroud, poisons, it can lower the cast time and attack speed and make you take less damage just through natural poisons and spreading it around. It also has great defensibility with Cloak of Shadows, evasion, feint, all that good stuff to keep them alive during the harder situations. The only thing it does lack, as I said, is AoE, but it doesn't mean you won't be able to use it in high keys and hide raiding elements. Allow the Assassination Rogue to stick to the boss like glue and you will have very high damage. Now let's take a seat at the roasted ram and speak about these in-depth things. Now we're going to start off as always with our stat priority for Assassination Rogue. We're going to be wanting to look at agility first, then crit, then mastery, then haste, then versatility. Again, crit reigns supreme when it comes to Rogue. On every spec it is phenomenal. Critical strike increases the chance of your abilities to deal double damage. This is why Sin reigns supreme with it. Then we go into mastery, just like the sub-rogue. Now what mastery does, it increases the damage of your poisons and bleeds by a certain amount. And because Assassination Rogue is about keeping your bleeds and poisons upon a target for as long as possible and utilizing abilities to make them stronger, this is why mastery is so good. We then have haste and versatility. Haste just reduces cooldowns, your cast spells and the reduced cooldowns of many of your abilities, but again it's not really needed when it comes to Assassination Rogue. Versatility is just like a defense increase and a slight damage increase when you use it. Now again, on the screen, agility, crit, mastery, haste, versatility, in that order. That's how you want to balance it out. And before we move on, I should mention, stat priority can go up and down. The best way to figure out what is best for your class in any given situation is for you to sim it using raid bots. Download SimC add-on, type /SimC in game, copy and paste that into raid bots, and there you can sim for your top gear in your bags. So make use of that. So next up, we're going to be talking talents. How can we make the Assassination Rogue great in Mythic Dungeons and great in raiding? How do we enable it to do these high keys? Now, let's speak about it. So, when it comes to Mythic Dungeons, which is the build I'm showing you on screen right now, let me just shrink myself down so you can see everything. This is the build you're going to be going for Mythic Dungeons. Now, there are Assassination Rogues that have done 21 keys. As in plus 21s, meaning they are able to perform at a high level. Not the highest just yet, but when the gear comes in and we get a little bit better, they will perform even better. So, the left side of the tree, the rogue talents, what all specs have access to. We're starting from the top, going down. So, row 1, we're taking Shiv, Blind, and Sap. In row 2, we are taking Evasion, Cheat Death, and Cloak of Shadows. In row 3, we are taking Numbing Poison, we are taking Gouge, and we are taking Tricks of the Trade. In row 4, we are taking Fleet-Footed, Improved Sprint, and Shadow Step. In row 5, we are taking Virulent Poisons, we are taking Unbreakable Stride, and Tight Spender. In row 6, we are taking 2 points Deadly Precision, and 2 points Thief's Versatility. In row 7, we are taking Vigor, and we are taking Acrobatic Strikes. In row 8, we are taking Leeching Poison, Lethality, 1 point, Recuperator, and 2 points Alacrity. In row 9, we are taking 2 points Sealed Fate, we are taking Echoing Reprimand, and we are taking Deeper Stratagem. And in the final row, row 10, we are taking Thistletea and Resounding Clarion. Now, this is your left side of the talents, and these are going to be available for every spec, but these are your Mythic Dungeon Assassination Rogue talents. Now, let's look at what the most important talents are in this section, the Assassination Rogue section of the talents. Now, these are specifically designed to give you more of an AoE boost during dungeons. Sin doesn't have a whole lot of AoE when it comes, so talenting into it is the best we can do. Now, let's start from the top to bottom. We have Deadly Poison in row 1. Row 2, we're taking Improved Shiv, we're taking Venomous Wounds, and we are taking Shadow Step. In row 3, we are taking Cut to the Chase, 2 points Elaborate Panning, 2 points Improved Poisons, and 2 points Bloody Mess. In row 4, we are taking Throne Precision, we are taking Improved Garrote. In row 5, we are taking Crimson Tempest, we are taking Deathmark and Exsanguinate. In row 6, we are taking 2 points Lethal Dose and Iron Wire. In row 8, we are taking Amplifying Poison. Row 9, 2 points Poison Bomb and 1 point Shrouded Suffocation. Row 10, we are taking 2 points Dashing Scoundrel, 3 points Scent of Blood. And in the final row, we are taking Dragon Tempered Blades and Indiscriminate Carnage. And he said Chargers. Carnage. These are your Sin, Assassination Rogue, Mythic Dungeon talents. Use them wisely. Now, a few reasons why we take these multi-target talents. So, you are very restricted with the way you run the bottom set of talents here. But Indiscriminate Carnage is a 1 minute cooldown which can cause our next Garrote and our next Rupture to apply to 8 targets within 10 yards. So, on all the trash pack. This is on a 1 minute cooldown. So, if you realistically think about it, you're going to, on a high key, you're going to be using this almost every single pack if the mobs live long enough. That's why Assassination does a little bit better in situations where targets are lasting longer. You want to use this ability during stealth between pulls to benefit from the additional Garrote damage. Now, there's also Rupture. So, Rupture does increase your agility by 3% up to 24%, which grants us a huge bonus in damage. So, get that Rupture on as many targets as you can for a flat-out agility boost. And then you've got Crimson Tempest. Without this, you're going to have no AoE. Crimson Tempest is a strong finisher. It does initial damage and then puts a bleed on the enemy lasting 14 seconds. Use it on trash packs. Make it sure it stays up through the whole fight. Very important AoE ability to use. Now, next up, where Assassination Rogue truly shines, and this is single target raiding. Now, the raid this season is completely single target, but one boss in Heroic, that is. So, this is going to be your go-to build, and as long as you can stick to the boss, you're going to be doing flat damage. And when you hit the 35% mark of the boss, your damage is only going to increase. So let's look at the left side of things. What are the changes? What's keeping the same? Now, you are lucky because the left side of the rogue tree stays exactly the same between raiding and dungeons. So you're not going to touch this side of the tree at all. The left side stays the same, so we don't have to cover that. But what we do have to cover is the right side of the tree, because this changes quite a bit, considering we have to go into more single target elements, as the build before provides too much AoE for any single target environment. Now, from the start to the bottom again, in this order, we're going Deadly Poison, we're then going into Improved Shiv, Venomous Wounds, and Shadow Step. Row 3, we are taking Cut to the Chase, 2 points Elaborate Planning, 2 points Bloody Mess. In row 4, we are taking Lightweight Shiv, we are taking Improved Garrote. In row 5, we are taking Venom Rush and Deathmark. In row 6, we're taking 2 points Vicious Venoms and 2 points Lethal Dose. In row 7, we are taking Systemic Failure and Amplifying Poison, and finally Doom Blade. In row 8, we're taking Blindside, we're taking 2 points Poison Bomb, we're taking Shrouded Suffocation, and we're going to be rolling Sepsis this time. In row 9, we're taking 2 points Zoldyck Recipe, 2 points Dashing Scoundrel, and in the final row, we are taking Dragon Tempered Blades. Now, this is going to give you a great single target environment with a lot of execution phase when you hit that 35%. Okay, some notable things about the single target trait. Now, we're going to go into a lot of these CDs. We're taking Sepsis. It's a few new things from Season 1, but the main purpose of this build is Zoldyck Recipe will grant Assassination Rogues a way to increase the damage during the execution phase of raid encounters. I've said that multiple times throughout this video already. So your poison bleeds will deal 30% increased damage to targets below 35%. Additionally, with Tiny Toxic Blade, a talent, the Shiv will deal 500% more damage and no longer cost energy, granting us an easy way to consistently Shiv without losing energy and interrupting any of our cycles on our abilities, and just naturally increasing our damage by a huge amount. So next up, we're going to be talking gems, enchants, and consumables. Now, what gems are we taking? First off, we're going to be taking the Inscribed Illimited Diamond, where only limited to one of these. So you're going to be taking one that's primary stat and critical strike. Now, the rest of your gems are going to be Sensei's Alexstrasite. That's the go-to. However, if you've got overtuned crit and you need more mastery, you can always go the other way and go a mastery heavy gem. But normally, Sensei's Alexstrasite is going to be the play. Now, enchants. So your cloak enchant is going to be graceful avoidance. Your chest enchant is going to be waking stats. Your braces are going to be devotion of avoidance. Your legs are going to have a fierce armor kit on them. Your boots are going to have watcher's loam. Your rings are going to be devotion of crit or devotion of mastery. And your weapon is going to be Sophic devotion. Now, these are going to be placed. I'll show them all on screen. Everything's going to be on screen as we go along. Now, consumables. So you're going to be wanting to take File of Glacial Fury in every AoE or dungeon environment. But for single target, you're either going to want to take File of Elemental Chaos or Tepid Versatility. These are going to be your best two for single target. You can sim them to see which is better. But normally, for Sin, File of Elemental Chaos is going to be the play. Your food, just take the Grand Banquet of Kalawuk. Your party is going to love you. Your raid is going to love you. And they're not too expensive. So just grab them, as you're not going to really need a food buff while you're out there just doing quests and stuff. You're going to be wanting to take Buzzing Rune on both your weapons, and your normal rune is going to be the Draconic Augment Rune. And your pre-pots or mid-fight pots are going to be the Elemental Potion of Power. Try and get these at level 3 for everything, but if you can only get, you know, the level 2 or the level 1s, then just grab these. Never put these high-level enchants on green stuff. Wait until you've upped your gear a little bit before spending the gold. Next up, we have crafted items, best in slot gear, trinkets, and embellishments. What you need to really outfit your character with the best of the best. So, what you're going to be aiming for, crafted-wise, is the Life-Bound Cap. This infuses an item with the power of decay. I'm going to show it on screen right now. And the Slimy Expulsion Boots. You're going to want to aim to get both of these crafted. So the boots, these boots use a toxic slime, which slows your actions, reducing your haste by 120. But as you know, it's not one of our primary stats. Your attacks will occasionally splash slime onto the target, dealing a certain amount of damage. These effects are increased by 100% if you equip a piece of toxified armor. So now you see the reason we roll the Life-Bound Cap. It's infused with decay, so it increases the damage of your Slimy Expulsion Boots. They work together. Now, your embellishments. You're going to want the Well-Fed bonus on your main hand. So, what pieces of gear can we look for as we're raiding and doing mythic dungeons? Now, you're always going to want to aim for the 4 set, because it's just flat out damage. No matter what, it's a flat out damage increase, so you want to aim for the 4 set. Rogues have one of the best ones in the game. It is absolutely beautiful. I'll show it on screen. But what the 4 set does, okay, so you 2 set Poison Edges. Rupture deals an additional 40% damage as nature. Crimson Tempest deals an additional 20% damage as nature. 4th set, when Deathmark expires, your nature damage you deal is increased by 40% for 30 seconds. So it's just flat out damages increase on certain things, and then you get a big buff when one of your CD runs out. So always aim for the 4 set when you can. Okay, so next, rings, weapons. What can you aim for from dungeons and raiding? So Cagney's Scorching Talisman is going to be your neck. This comes from Warlord Cagney, or the Azorta's Sakil from the raid. Or you want to go into Vortex Pinnacle and grab yourself the Red Sky Pendant. Now, for rings, you've got Onyx Imposter's Birthright, which comes from the Echo of Neltharion in the raid, and the Entropic Convergence Suit, which comes from the Essence of Shadow, which is the second boss in the raid. Rings from Dungeons, Sky Shard Ring from Vortex Pinnacle, and the Eternal Sentries Ring from Alderman will work. Now, weapons, you're either going to want the Fang of Sundered Flame from Sarkareth, or you're going to be wanting the Heart-Piercing Stalactite from the Underrot in both hands. If not, you can craft away, or use your Season 1 daggers and upgrade them. Now, the final spot of best in slot is the trinkets. Arguably, some of the most important things you can aim for. Now, there are 5 trinkets. I'll show them on screen that sim incredibly well for single target assassination rogue. You're going to want to go for either the Dragonfire Bomb Dispenser. That's your best in slot. Best in slot. I would always aim for that. Then Iridius Fragment, Beacon to the Beyond, Omnius Chromatic Essence, one of the buffs, and Neltharian's Call to Suffering. These 5 trinkets are going to do you wonders in single target. Neltharian's Call to Suffering is very close to Omnic Essence, so you can aim for either of them. Now, for AoE, 5 target situation, your best in slot is going to change. So, the Omnius Chromatic Essence with the Azure buff is going to be your best in slot. It's just a pure stat increase. It's going to be your best in slot. Then you have Storm Eater's Boon. See, I hate using Storm Eater's Boon. I've mentioned it on the other 2 rogue videos. But it is still extremely strong. But if you didn't play Season 1 or you don't have it, then I would just throw this out the window and aim for Neltharian's Call to Suffering next. So the 4 I would aim for are Omnious Essence, Neltharian's Call to Suffering, Harlan's Loaded Dice, and the Beacon of Beyond. These are the 4 trinkets I would aim for AoE. Now for the rotation side of things, you're going to see everything I'm doing on the tracker on the right side of the screen. This is our AoE rotation. Starting off, we're always going to want to have our 4 poisons on. We're going to want to enter in stealth. We're going to garrote as we come out of stealth because we're using improved garrote. We're going to use indiscriminate charge as this puts our bleeds and our stuff on all targets within 10 yards of us. Crimson Tempest is going to be a dot we want to keep up all the time. Rupture, if not sustaining energy. So make sure you've got Rupture always up on that primary target. You're going to Shadow Dance because of improved garrote. Venom because you're rolling a Poison Bomb. Rupture on targets that don't have it. So if Indiscriminate Charge runs out and you seem to think that you don't have Rupture on any target, just swap, put Rupture on it, easy done. You're going to Vanish into Garrote because you're rolling improved Garrote. To avoid overcapping charges, you want to use Thistletea, you know, regularly. You're going to shiv on your primary target. So whatever target you're aiming on and off cleaving off, that's going to be the one you shiv into. Echoing Reprimand into Venom on cooldown if skilled. Garrote on targets without bleed, so make sure it's on every target. Fan of Knives is going to be your generating combo points. Crimson Tempest on 6 targets or more, well 5 targets or more if skilled, which you will be for AoE. If Crimson Tempest is already on the target, you're going to be wanting to use Venom as your filler rather than Crimson Tempest. Now, these are your AoE sort of rotation. It's got a very simple one. It's just about keeping your bleeds up on as many targets as you can. Now, that was a single target rotation. Again, all of my events on the right. Now, attacking and training, target dummy isn't going to give you the full effect of an assassination rig in single target, as it comes into primary effect once a target hits 35% or below. That's where it's going to get its massive damage increase. So the burst is okay. The DPS consistently is okay. But once it hits 35%, it goes nuts. Now, we're going to enter through stealth. Venom to maintain Slice and Dice, if you didn't know. We're going to maintain Garrote, casting from stealth when possible. Always maintain Rupture. Echoing Reprimand on cooldown. Exsanguinate on cooldown after applying a Rupture with Echoing Reprimand. Sepsis on cooldown. Shiv to overlap with the end of Sepsis. Deathmark on cooldown. Try and sync it with Vanish. Vanish into Deathmark. We're going to shiv to avoid overcapping charges. We're going to Shadow Dance to apply improved Garrote and empowered Garrotes. Venom is your main spender. Ambush when possible to generate combo points. Mutilate to generate combo points, it's your builder. And Thistletea to refresh 100 to avoid overcapping your charges. That is the primary balance of things when it comes to Assassination Rogue single target. Keep them dots applied. Use your CDs. Try and sync Deathmark up with Vanish. Use Garrote. Keep Garrote up. Keep Ambush up. Everything. These are your single target rotations for Assassination Rogue. Now that is the end of the video, guys, and that comes to the end of our 3 Rogue class guides. Next up, we're going to be hitting Paladin, as it is my new main this season. Absolutely fantastic class. But I want to thank you for watching the video. Thank you for making it through. If you have, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know what classes you want to see or give me some feedback. It is all welcome. Now, we're going to be live over on twitch.tv Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday every single week. Come and join us. We got WoW, Final Fantasy, Diablo 4, whatever you want to see. We also have giveaways running all the time. Thank you once again. Until next time, peace.